Okay. Wow. All right. Time flew this morning is all I have to say on the matter, but I think we're moderately on time. So good morning, everyone. Hope people are doing well. Oh, that's the wrong thing. This is the right thing. All right, there we go. All right. Ooh. Kicking the dust off here, still trying to remember exactly how we do all the things that we do. But this stream is going to be one of those hectic, many-windowed streams. Good morning, Illustrious. So the plan is I want to take a closer look at buildings. Specifically this game file here in all of its tiny glory, because we've made some changes to catapults and we've made some changes to ballistas, but we haven't talked about traps at all, and I don't think we've come up with a universal concept for how we want traps and defenses to work. So I'm thinking what we do is, why do we have two of those? Maybe I can get rid of that. But yeah, maybe we can think a little bit about what traps should look like and then start, tweaking it and testing and things like that. But the first thing we always need to do is we need to actually load in and make the modified file. Now, if you are, I guess I should probably hit the record button. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. All right, so we're back doing some more modding. The screen should look relatively familiar to the devout few who have been watching me go through this process. But if I find the Asset Studio GUI here, right, and we sort it, and then we go buildings. Then we have this particular file, which we've already loaded in, which is the skill descriptions. Let's make it big without making it crazy big. The skill definitions building file. It's also the file that's over there on the right-hand side of the GUI, but it contains all of the skills for our defensive buildings. So we have the stun trap here. We have the stun trap. In fact, we're going to need to take a look at this because there appears to be like a... Okay, so I think that there is the base version and then there's the enhanced version, where the enhanced version is enhanced by the omen, which, as a side note, before we go too far, what do we have for omen definitions? Ooh, do omens have a different name in the game files? The questions... We got our affix levels. We unfortunately, can I load? I think I can load a file. Hold on. So let's go back for a second. Go into assets and grab just that one file. There we go. Okay. So what will happen to you sometimes when you load an asset file in Asset Studio is you'll get duplicates of everything. And the reason that you get duplicates is because you have multiple asset files. So for instance, in my case, I have the modded version and the regular version. So opening a single file as opposed to opening the entire set can be an easy fix for that I actually hadn't done before. But so I'm kind of looking here. Let's go filters. We only want the text assets. That's all we're interested in, which means how many files are we actually talking about here? 142 files, and one of them has omens in it. And I wanted to find the omens because I wanted to see how they reference the files that define the improvements. So like as an example, we were just looking in, oh, what is that? Meta upgrade definition buildings. Okay, so those are, so these are all the meta unlocks. That's an interesting thing. But we were looking at skill definitions buildings. And then we noticed that there is a second skill called SPE_stun trap triggered. And this one is the larger stun trap, the improved stun trap that is improved by omens. But I actually don't know where omens live. We have trophies. These are the things at the end of the game. Got a bunch of unit stuff, a bunch of victory stuff. Doesn't look like any of these. I would assume the omens are in here. What is the panic definition? You always find little interesting things. So yeah, so there's a scaling reward value here. Logically, they should be here. Yeah, absolutely. So you have these meta upgrade definitions. These are... Hey, Abigail. Yeah, we're gonna talk a lot today about defenses and a lot about traps, because I want to start to come up with a cohesive picture of those, and I don't have a great answer yet for that. But the one thing that the first side thing that pulled me away was asking the question, where do like the omens, because so specifically what I was just saying was, if we look at the buildings, which is obviously where we're going to be poking and prodding here, right? There's two versions of stun trap. There's the normal one, and then there's the one that's improved by improved traps. The second one is the one that's improved by improved traps. And the issue is that somewhere the omen of improved traps must be defined inside of these files, and I have yet to find that one. We have glyph definitions. Maybe they called them glyphs before. This looks like it. So we have the there is no reference to help. Yeah. So sometimes we are just poking around, but this right here looks like it. So I think they originally called the omen system the glyph system. Fun little bit of, trivia there. Love to find out these little things. And then the _easy prefix is for the boundless mode omens, it looks like, right? We got omen of reduced cost, additional starting hero, and then we have melee weapon. So what we're going to do is we're going to take glyph definitions, and we're going to find it in our other tool. Do I have the other tool getting captured? I do. Look at me. So this tool here, for those who don't remember, is the Unity Asset Bundle Extractor, or UABE. And what it is good at is it is good at actually exporting files. So we're going to go in here and we're going to find glyph definitions, which will be under G. We got some scrolling to do. Glyph FX, glyph definition. So here's the file. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do view data. And what we're going to do is the thing that I recommended is I am going to copy glyph definitions, the name, because that's the name of the file. And then I'm going to go to string mscript. I'm going to right click. You can't see my right click, but I'm going to go export data. And then I'm going to go into my base directory, paste this, and go XML. And I'm going to create a copy of that glyphs file, which means that now if I hide UABE over here and we go into the base directory and go into glyph definitions, we have it in a form where I have an easier time reading. I know it's not always easier, but let's now look for traps in here. At least it's searchable now. So we have defense specialized traps, and specialized traps was the thing. So things that I see right off the bat here is, if we want to, it will be very easy for us to change the omen cost. That was pretty intuitive. I would have guessed as much. But we have all of the defenses perks in here. So we have more health. We have more health 2. We have more health 3. These are for walls, as a side note. And then the structure of these is interesting. So we have a token variable that has a key like wood health bonus 60%. So it looks like changing the individual scalars would be relatively easy. Is 0 an option? We could certainly try it. I think it's the way that I would recommend going about that, and I'm not saying that it's not worth trying to do, but given that they have boundless mode where you don't have to worry about omen budgets, it feels a little bit like, not that critical. But okay, so we have specialized traps and we have reusable traps. Oh wow. So gosh, it is such a shame. Just to take a moment. Let's take a moment and step back. It is such a shame that they have done such an amazing job externalizing config. So this is a really good example. We have defense reusable traps. Would have been very easy for them just to point to a piece of code that had a variable that they just set. But instead, they went and they did a good job externalizing it into XML to make their lives easy, but also to make modding so easy, right? Like, if we wanted to make defense reusable traps a 50% chance not to consume the charge, it is literally a one value change, which is just awesome. Now, the thing that I'm noticing here, though, and the reason that I wanted to do this is so we have toggle skill progression flag, and then we have a flag firing defenses, specialized firing defenses, right? So this is Omen of the Engineer, specifically. And then the one directly above it is Omen of the Trapper. We can take a look at those in the GUI for a second here without actually going in. Let's see, we're going to be going to Glintfine eventually. But if we come in here and we find, where's Omen of the Trapper? Where do you live? I'm not used to my screen being this big or this small, as the case may be. There it is. Omen of the Trapper. So all traps have their skill improved, able to affect more targets, and then Omen of Siege. Well, Omen of Siege is, yeah, it's Omen of the Engineer is, there we go. All range defenses have their skill improved. So these are the two that we're looking at right here and here. And in this case, the flag specialized traps, I don't know if it exists somewhere. And this is where things get a little difficult in the modding space, because it is distinctly possible that specialized traps exists somewhere else in the data files, right? And we might be able to find it using this. So if we... So what other glyph things do we have in here? So we have meta upgrade definition glyphs. So this is the Schadenfreude how to unlock, which honestly, this is something that I should also look at. Like there's a guide waiting to be built here, because I think that the preconditions for each unlock in the meta progression system lives in this file. And I think it would be helpful for new players to extract that out. But I digress. So it looks like there's no other specific glyph information outside of the glyph definition. If we come in here and go special, there's 10 string instances of them. Does this have a flag that makes it unlocked/completed? No. So that's going to be stored in the game save file, which is separate from this. These files don't change. These files just give you the information about things. But what I'm noticing is like it has these condition groups. So this is a great example, right? So if someone's asking, how do I get the glyph of heroes having more AP, right? The answer is that there's a condition group that says campaign runs finished in city Lakeburg B2. I don't know. So it says runs finished in city. Yeah, Abigail, it definitely would. Like mapping it out as a tree and visualizing it, I think could be super useful. But yeah, so this right here, and I don't know if this is true because it's been a while, but this indicates to me that the condition for getting the extra hero AP one, at least the one that costs 15,000 tainted essence, is 2 runs completed in Lakeburg. Don't know if they have to be successful. So I never found a great source for that information, Abigail. Maybe you have another source, but I have struggled to answer questions when people are like, hey, how do I get Omen X or Omen Y? This seems like the most authoritative place, but I'm super curious if there's another good place to find that. But anyways, we're getting a bit sidetracked. So the question that I was wondering about is we have specialized defenses, specialized firing defenses. So the only place that specialized shows up here is these 4 places. And what we're looking for is this XML element is making reference to a skill progression flag called specialized traps. Okay, so you were looking at this same file. I have not looked at the meta upgrade files. But that's awesome. That is definitely the space. But yeah, I think we could probably write a simple little XML parser that pulls in all of this and creates, like, we might even be able to use some visualization to better see it. But yeah, so the thing is we have a flag specialized traps. So the next thing I want to check is I want to grab specialized and I want to come on over here and see if, nothing lists here. We have nothing for trap. So we have building. And building, we have action definitions, gauge effect. Hold on, what is that one? Gauge effect definitions. Building gauge effect definitions. Create item, gain gold, gain materials, open magic seal, and global upgrade stat. I'm guessing global upgrade stat is the one that's used to govern the new way that you upgrade. New way sounds a little ridiculous, but the way that you upgrade, say, like buildings that have production buildings, basically. Oh, interesting, Abigail. So we have passive definitions. What the heck are passive definitions? Tree breakable death. Lit braziers. Huh. Sound definitions, upgrade definitions. This might be useful. So these are the building upgrade definitions. So, okay. So this is like the shop and shopkeeper's best friend, the temple upgrade. So this is not what I was thinking it was, although it might include seasoned operator. So we got walls here. That's a good one. Gates, turrets. Turrets is ballistas. So this is where we have seasoned operators and also mounted ballistas, presumably. Yes. Yep. Upgrade ballista to ballista tower. That's your main one. Yes, that's what it looked like to me. So this is where you generate shop items. You generate production items. Improve spawn wave info. So this is like the seer ability. Here's the building passive upgrade for houses. I don't know what tree breakable death is, though. That's an interesting one. Generate light fog. Do we think light fog has something to do with mist sensors? That's the best thing I can come up with. And then we have the lit braziers. Okay, so this actually, man, we're getting sidetracked already, but I just love digging around in this stuff. I wonder if changing these, we could change the timing of the braziers being lit in Elderlicht. Right? Because it says transform building into a brazier lit 1 triggers after X night turns, number of night turns 1. If we made these 0, I wonder if they would light during the deployment phase. I suspect they wouldn't. I suspect that the signal isn't quite there. You're creating nightmare fuel for me in Lustrous. The thing that I don't see here is, so we have lit braziers, and they turn into braziers lit. Someone needed to work on their variable naming, but it seems like lit brazier is the starting one. Yes, so that's what I was just getting to, Abigail, is what I think this is. And then the question becomes, this file doesn't look like it includes the first state, the lit brazier state, as it were. Yeah, I think we're thinking along the same lines. But what I don't see is I don't see the other piece of it. Because everything I think starts out as an extinguished brazier. And then, or no, this is a transition of extinguished braziers back into unlit braziers. It does look like we could, if we wanted to, make corpse piles never decay. Don't think we want to do that, but I think this is the place where bone pile 2 decay turns into bone pile 1. So commenting out this line, these 2 lines, would cause them never to decay. I think there's something interesting about corpse piles not decaying, but that's a idea for another time. Yeah, so I think getting back to braziers for a second, I think that if we look at this, the building lit brazier is the indicating stage, right? So the blue flame that cannot be interacted with. And then it says on turn night of 1, or I guess after turn 1, it converts the lit brazier into a brazier lit, which is the interactable one. I think the other piece of it would be in the same place as enemy spawning. So there's certainly a lot of spawning stuff going on. I wanted to look at, so we looked at building upgrades. Random buildings direction definitions. What the heck is random building directions definitions? Hold on, I've become distracted. Used to test boss spawns, used to test various setups for Glintfine. Okay, so this looks like a testing file. So I didn't see anything that indicated the boss braziers being a different. Oh, so here we go. Extinguish boss brazier. So there is brazier boss somewhere. Yeah, it would completely invalidate Omen of Vultures. I will say though, I think an omen of non-decaying corpses could be a really cool omen once we get to the point of potentially adding omens. Just throwing that out there. I think it's a neat idea. I'm going to take a note on my piece of paper. I titled it on my sheet of paper, Omen of the Refrigerator, because the idea would be that corpse piles would be refrigerated. Okay. But there was... So anyway, so let's take a deep breath here. Take a break from digging around and go ahead and bring up the Unity Asset Bundle Extractor and actually create our modified file. Because at the moment, we're running an unmodified version of the game. Exactly. Just pile up the bodies of enemies to protect yourself from the oncoming horde. Also, can you change the health or AP requirements of extinguishing braziers? I'm sure you can. I'm guessing if I swap back over to this, I'm guessing there's something specific for Elderlect. Victory cutscene for Elderlect. That's not what we're looking for. You still believe that a hospital where you use workers to reroll levels up should exist? Ooh, that's a clever idea, Juan. I like that. I like that concept, for sure. But yeah, I'm not sure where the Elderlicht specific things are. That's an interesting question. Like I said, there's only 142 files. At some point, I should dump all the file names so I can more easily poke around. But Asset Studio does a good job with it. But anyways, let's get our game remodified because, you know, at some point we need to actually do some modding. So far, we've just been digging around in the goodies, which is nothing wrong with it, but it's fun sometimes to have actually things change. So we need skill definitions, items melee. We need to view its data. We need ranged view data. We need magic view data. Then what else are we working with? We got melee, ranged, magic. Then we have skill definitions. Oh, wait, this is skill definitions. Building. Oh, we're already on building. Okay, so let's grab building. And then after buildings, we have perks. And then we also now have glyph definitions, which I'm a little curious to tweak that a bit. So I'll at least we'll hold off on grabbing it quite yet. But I will grab perk definitions. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to get all of these things loaded in. So the way that we do that is we go through each one, we click on the mscript version, we go import data, and then we go to our melee definitions. We go import data. We need our range definitions. We need our magic definitions. Then this is our buildings. There we go. And then our perks. Have we made any changes to our perks file? I'm not sure we have. But anyways, we can do that. We can apply and save. And this is going to create our modded file, which we're then going to copy into our local game files. I didn't have all my browser windows set up, so for that I am eternally apologetic. Like, there are actions that heroes can perform without needing any gear, like base leap and punch, So there's probably some skill definitions base or skill definition heroes or something along those lines. Might also hold the perk things for cheer, reload. Yes, so that is skill definitions miscellaneous, Abigail. I can bring that up here, but I'm pretty sure that, yeah, first one that we go to, because I think I was looking at it before, is here is punch. And I don't think that it doesn't include cheer, because cheer exists in skill definitions _ perk. So this has all of the activatable skills, like here's execute as an example, that you can do. And now we know that the punch for execute is the same punch that they use on punch itself. What do you think about max level working house ability to be upgradable to give all heroes a level, but you spend all those workers? Okay, I'm guessing miscellaneous is, so let's try here. So it does not have the letters BRA or EXT. So it's not in there, but we can check. Let's do a find in all of the files for... So skill definitions bosses has a bunch of brambles. That's not what we're looking for. So yeah, so it's not in, whatever it is, it's not in any of the files that I have pulled out yet. Which I can... Is there an easy way for me to show the list of files? I don't know that there is. If I temporarily make this small, does this help? Nope, I think that hinders. Yeah, so we just checked. We also have items usable. Let's go back to... Hold on. Please hold. We'll go back to Asset Studio. Bring that up on this one. We'll go skill definition. So we have skill definition bosses. I bet this is where it lives. We got spawners. All right, so let's export this one so we can take a look at it in the proper way. So I'm going to go over to Asset Studio Bundle. I'm going to go to, we're going to find skill definition again. Skill definition bosses. We'll do view data, pull this out, grab that, export data. We'll put it into our base directory because I'm not looking to modify it quite yet. Oh, I'd already pulled out skill definition bosses. Well, I guess I had. Hold on. I guess I pulled all the skill definitions out. So we already have it. But that also means that our search didn't find it, so it has some other name. All right, so it looks like this file is very large. I just got a warning. Yep, looks pretty large. So let's see. So we got Bramble Spike. We extinguish. No, we have Extreme Entangle. We have Nessie Egg. Can I go like... Archivist doesn't show up in here. All right, let's just scroll randomly for a second and see what we find. When in doubt, random scrollage. Nessie Boss head water changes. There's a lot of Nessie stuff in here. Second ring Nessie stuff, so that's the second level up for her. More Nessie stuff. Target units buff. This is the Harpy boss. Throne Tower boss fight. All right, here we go. Whoa. So first of all, this is just hilarious. So the first skill in the Archivist fight is Throne Tower Annihilation, which I've never lost. I've never lost Elderlicht to this effect, but it looks hilarious. So it does 280 damage in the center, which I think is always fatal to the last spell. And then it skips a square and then does a giant diamond of devastation. And the secondary effect, if I can even find it, oh my goodness. Oh, so the Archivist was originally known as the Monarch, for those who are interested. I love little things like that. Okay, so secondary effect. Where are you? Skill action. Okay, so this was bosses. Maybe skill definition enemies contains the Brazers. I think this is different. I think with 4 full health mages at the spell, you can just about survive 1 hit from the Archivist countdown. Oh, really? That's surprising to me. Let me come back over here. So Brazers. Oh, skill definition Brazers. Good job, me. All right. This is the file we were looking for. Obviously. That was embarrassing. Let's grab it here. We'll view data. Export data to file. Put this in the base directory. There we go. New file has been acquired. But yeah, I was under the impression that it's not supposed to be, but I don't know. So, okay, so let's see. So we have skill definition extinguish brazier. And it is contextual, and it is brazier specific true. The is contextual is interesting. So I think is contextual is whether or not so this is actually an important thing. So the thing that the brazers do that we might want to consider doing at some point, and I don't know if we can, but they have this is contextual true flag here, and then they have a contextual condition block that says this only works if the building exists and the target health left equals 10 plus level times 3. So my read on this is that for brazers, exactly, Abigail. That was what I was thinking. I was wondering if is contextual and contextual conditions was something that we could use with our attempt at making the short bow a charge and attack weapon. I think that's a very interesting question. Because the thing about XML, because I think we've talked a bit about this, but not in great detail, is that the tree structure that is created by XML can have a lot of inheritance in it, right? And inheritance is the idea that you can have 3 different XML types that are derived from a single parent. And there's lots of complexity to that I am glossing over. But what it would mean for us is if this is contextual property and the contextual conditions thing is something that can exist on any skill definition, then we might be in business. Because the other thing that I'm thinking about that could be really cool is, in addition to doing this, if we could tell when heroes are standing next to ballista and then give them an activatable ability of their own, that could be really cool. So essentially, because we've talked about this before, I think, but the idea of defenses being manable is very curious to me. So just throwing that out there. Okay, yeah. So basically, right, they use the health on the brazers to track how much AP they need, right? Takes 2 AP to do 10 damage. But the thing is this skill is being added to the heroes. I mean, it is a coding type, but like I'm not going to go through like, diamond inheritance and multiple inheritance and all of those things because, it is beyond the scope of what we're doing here. So let's see. Yeah. So skill definition, element conditions. So we have a little bit of documentation here. So let's read the documentation. So we have element conditions. If not specified, the skill will always be displayed. If specified, a condition needs to be valid. Usable conditions are in watchtower, target in range, only during phase, production or deployment, production or deployment or night. In the following example, the skill will be available during the production phase or night or in the target range. So this is not a very long list of conditions. But yeah, so this is very limited, right? Because first of all, and this is where things get really messy, the usable conditions does not include building exists or target health left, right? So both of these exist in the code and were added as additional properties that are not part of the original documentation. Well, yeah, so the problem that we would run into, Isabel, is I'm guessing, and let's go look at back protection, right? That would be in perk definitions. Okay, well, nothing has the name that you expect it to have, so let's find it. Then how does execute work? Which code word? Yeah, so we'll check that too. So here's finish him. We were actually right there, so we should look at it. Wait, weren't we? Didn't I just? So we have jump over wall. So we have leapfrog, and leapfrog is contextual, and leapfrog uses the exact same target health left, but then it also uses invalid cast display button displayed unavailable. How does it actually figure out if you can do the thing? This is where things get crazy. So first of all, the during phases aspect of things, they seem to have moved away from completely. But so like, for instance, you can only cheer if a unit is in range. Valid targets playable units. And then invalid behavior. So this one doesn't even have a condition. So here's finish him. This is the one we were looking for. Okay. So condition is checking that the target's max health. Health left is 10 plus 3 times the level, which is the definition of fatality. And then it has a range associated with it, which also disables or enables it. Side note, skill effect kill. That could be something that comes in handy later. But let's find back protection, because I'm actually really curious about back protection. I don't actually think it's going to be in skills perk. It's going to be in perk definitions, because it's not an activatable ability. That is my understanding, Abigail, but it looks like something that they found a different way to do, basically. Okay, so here's back protection. So ID back protection. Effect display, perk needs update, is active. Perk is active. Okay. So see, literally, the way that they handle if this perk is active is they have a Boolean choice of owner is back protection valid. Ha. So I believe that's something that's going to be provided by the code. Somewhere in the code, as a hero gets near and moves away from walls, they have this is back protection valid flag toggled, which is not helpful. But it would give us a pattern for how to do it. Not a fan. How can you not be a fan of Boolean values? The whole world works on Boolean values. All our logic is basically Boolean. Let's see. So yeah, so we have this perk is active, token variable. Boolean. Is that like Jolene but different? So yeah, so we basically have this check that is saying if the perk is active, then the perk is active. And in this case though, the perk definition is not using the skill is active. So I don't know that helps. So it's like it's like the opposite of yay thick is what you're saying in Lustrous, I think. But anyways, let's see. So we just went ahead. I think I just exported a new mod file. So let's make sure that we've actually made the changes that we wanted to make, right? We should do that. So let's need to make this window a little leaner, if you will. All right, there we go. So I will do that to that. This to this. All right, and let's do a quick. Oh, wait, I did the wrong thing. Hold on. Please hold. There it is. This one is the one that I want to back up. What I'm doing right now is I'm just shuffling around the asset files to get things loaded in. And now let's bring back up the last spell since it's been a minute. And let's see if we can actually fire up the game with our changes. Say hello to our favorite little construction worker. We can get a little bit of game sound too. So far, everything seems to have loaded properly. Go to Glintfine. I'm going to do bigger waves just because I want a few more enemies. But mainly, we're just going to go and we're going to make sure that we actually made the modifications that we wanted to make. But yeah, this conditional logic is very interesting. Now, let's see. Do I not currently have changes? Okay, yeah, so we have charge and lose charge. Look at that. So cool that those are just there. We just haven't, Rain of Arrows, we haven't figured out, how about now, Abigail? I turned it up, but not very high. That or I broke something. One of the two. All right, so we have modified skills. Which feels good. If we were to build a ballista, since we're gonna want to build a few ballistas. I'm gonna build them out here, but at the moment, right, ballistas do 0 damage, have a stun chance, and are undodgeable. I just had a weird thought. There might be some interesting gameplay around the idea of creating non-mounted ballistas and intentionally hampering their vision so you get better results out of your stuns, right? Like if you had a whole bunch of these that were like staggered with a bunch of walls so they couldn't see the same enemies, you might get a better result, which is a weird thing to think about. But anyways, so I'm super intrigued by, yeah, we were looking at skill definition braziers here, right? And we saw this conditional. Now the conditional is pretty lame, right? It says building exists, which presumably is checking that there is a building next to them. But that doesn't seem like enough. Oh, valid targets. Building category lit brazier. Ooh, okay. All right, so this is then very interesting. So okay, so what's happening here is the contextual condition is saying, does the building exist? The valid targets is saying what buildings are valid, right? And then the max health is saying that the thing has enough health to do the thing, right? So if it has 0 health, like an extinguished brazier, then it can't do anything. Okay, we might be able to make something work here. Now, we have to figure out where the building categories come from. That's the next big question. So let's bring up, so we're gonna go back again to Asset Studio, because that's our exploratory tool. And we're gonna look at buildings. We have skill definition buildings, random buildings per day definition, buildings generation definition, building directions, meta, and building sounds. None of those seem correct. So not... Like what I'm trying to find is I'm trying to find the actual definition of, say, like the blacksmith. Maybe there's an individual file for each of them? No, there's not. See, we have, oh, building definitions. How, I was just looking at this. How did this not? All right, so I think we need to get this one exported. Sometimes seeing is hard. Ah, it's singular. Good call. Thank you, Oatmeal. Good eye. Let's see. Oh, we got a lot of... I want to look at the brazier stuff here, too. So we have brazier definition as well. I think I want to grab that. Just so we can see what the data looks like. Can I look at that over here? Can I not spell? I cannot spell. All right. Okay, so what's actually in this file? Guardian definition 3B ham short. Ham wand. I'm always most afraid of the ham wand. Okay, so we got 2 braziers, 3 braziers, 4, 5, 8. Ooh, puppy going wild. Puppy going wild. Okay, so that doesn't seem like it's too useful, but let's take a look at buildings. The building definition. So we have the magic circle, and I just want to see puppy borking. Bork, bork, bork. Bork, bork, bork. Bone piles. Okay, so let's get building definitions exported so we can really see it, because clearly there's something interesting here. The brazier changes didn't... Got brazier definition. Portrait box. Wait, buffalo? Oh, man. All right, building definitions. Let's grab this. This is the one that we want. Export this. Okay, so now we have building definitions out here. So let's take a look at this in a place where we can actually see what's going on. And the first question that I wanted to ask was, does... it's referred to as turret. So here is turret. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, this is really cool. So, category turret. So now we know that buildings have categories. And we also know that we can potentially set up conditionals based on them. So, the next thing I think I want to try, the first big, you know, aspect of what we're doing here is I think I want to try to make a weapon skill that only shows up when you're standing next to a ballista. I'm suddenly feeling like that's a lot. No. We haven't looked at the building definition file in Lustrous, I don't believe. This category field is at least new to me. We're thinking of lure traps. I'm not sure, but this is interesting. There's also a build limit. Okay, so if we want to do... We don't need... Building definitions, we don't need anything from. We just wanted to know that there is a category. So the thing that I'm wondering right now is we have this example of being able to check to do an ability based on a thing. Now, I'm trying. What I'm wondering is if we put one of these skill definitions. Okay, let's just take an ability and see if we can do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into ranged weapons. And I'm going to go to what are the weapons that we currently have in our game? I want a weapon that we haven't modified much. Sure. Let's modify Hammer of Faith. So we're going to go into magic weapons. I'm going to expand this so you can see what I'm seeing. And then we're going to go and we're going to find the scepter. There it is. And we'll just mess with Magic Bash for the moment. Not that this is a good example. But the thing that we want to mess with, let's close that, is we want to borrow the Valid Buildings clause. Which in this case sits directly under the skill definition. So we have a skill definition here. So I am literally going to add right here, valid building. But the category that I'm going to add is the category from the building definitions, which is that is category turret. So we're going to go here and we're going to say category turret. Then we're going to go back to the braziers here, and we're going to add is contextual to the item in question, which is this one here. So Magic Bash is going to become is contextual. We can boop that out of the way for a second. So, okay, so we're saying that it is contextual. We're saying that the valid targets is a turret. And then we're going to say that we're going to have a contextual condition that says that the building exists and the building has health. If this doesn't work, will we be able to make an ability usable only if the enemy has a certain debuff? That may be an option, yes. It does seem like we may have options like that. So we're going to say contextual condition, which maps to the is contextual, is building exists and the building has health. And building exists is checking that it is type turret. Now, the other thing we need to add is invalid cast display behavior, and it's going to be display unavailable. So we're going to come here. We're going to add invalid cast display behavior. So now that we've done that, let's take a look at this one here. I'll shift this over so we can just take a look because we want to see if there's anything else that we're missing. Everything down here looks totally generic. Yeah, okay. So let's try this as is. So I think we have just made it so that you can only use Magic Bash on turrets if you're standing next to turrets. So let's do that. I'm gonna bring up Asset Studio as per usual. I'm gonna import the magic weapons. I'm going to save and apply. Save, replace. Gonna copy this over. We're gonna sort by date modified so that I can do that. We're just gonna delete that file. We're gonna do that, yes, and then now we need to restart our game. It's not the best ability, but the potential, I think, is large for something like this. If we can do something like this, I think there's some very interesting potential. Now, I think all of our abilities are going to be grayed out until we start. So I'm going to need to take a moment to build out our base and get some weapons that we want to tinker with. So bear with me for a moment. I'm going to build a few ballistas, a few catapults, and then we'll spend some money on... Do we have some with a rifle? We have some with a rifle. We could use a longbow. Y'all got any of that longbow? We could use a magic orb is fine. A druid staff is fine. A spear is fine. Just looking for items that we have been doing some testing with. Blood crystal. We talked a little bit last time about making blood crystal have a heal on it. So I wanna tinker around with that. Grab one of those, grab one of those, grab one of those, grab one of those. We don't have enough heroes for all of these items, but we'll just grab these to start with. And let's get our heroes equipped. So I'm gonna take your swift boots away and I'm gonna give you the blood crystal. Because I think the blood crystal is the item that we're most likely to modify. Give you a regular, well, we haven't really modified the regular sword. We'll give you a two-handed sword. Give you a magic orb. I think we did do some changes to magic orb. And then spear, because I think we're still workshopping spear a bit. Okay, everyone at least has 2 weapons. I guess someone needs to come down here and handle things over here. But the main thing we want to do is we want to put you over there. Yeah, so unavailable during those phases. Okay, so let's get into the next phase. Uh-oh. I can't proceed to the next phase. But why? This is one of those situations where I'm like, did I miss something like totally obvious? Proceeding to the next phase is unavailable in this phase. That's alarming, to say the least. It means that I've done something truly silly. Let's try again now that I've spent some more money. Okay. It literally wouldn't let me because I hadn't spent money. Now, you are... Okay, so right now... Uh-oh. I can't unselect my heroes. All right, we have broke things sufficiently. Oh my gosh. So, I'm stuck highlighting this hero. He has Magic Bash, which has the rifle icon. Everything is Magic Bash now, except I can't switch between. I also can't... Escape is not working. So we may have a problem, Houston. So this didn't work quite the way that we wanted it to, it seems. So invalid cast display unavailable. Skill definition Magic Bash. Valid target's turret. All right, we may have to find a log file here. When in doubt, find a log file. Please hold. I don't think we get anything useful out of the log file, but I will try it anyways. Roaming. No, are we not? We're in local. Thought it was local low. Ah, there it is. I'm just blind. All right, so we have a log file from 10 a.m. today, which is that's this playthrough. So let's see. I can. Is there anything sensitive in this log file? Are we giving away like external IP addresses or anything silly like that? Looks like no. That's an exception. All right, here we go. Null reference exception. Object. Okay, so this looks relatively safe for me to bring up. So let me grab this. Here's our log file. And everything was going well. Well might be a little strong. Until we got to this null pointer exception. No rewired action has been found for ID int -1. Rewired action. We open and close the shop, blah, 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 and then things got unhappy. So this is still while we were in... This is a surprising time for this to happen. Now, I know that during the production phase, we were already starting to have issues. So what do we have? Last stand model skill action execution. Get skill source tiles. What was the last exception we got? The one that killed us. Very small file size has not been found for accuracy trying to get small. Okay, so this is in the tile-dependent orientation function of try to add target, compute target validity. Okay, so it is dying where we kind of expected it to die, right? It is clearly dying in the place that so we're trying to set the button interactivity on Magic Bash, and we're not succeeding. Okay. Well, I mean, that's good, right? That means that while this is not working, while it's not working, it is unsurprising. So I'm tempted just to start out by getting rid of this target health left thing and just doing the contextual condition building exists. And then I also want to go back and look one more time. Yeah, it was unhappy before that, but I think it was firing the same error, and we can go back and double check. But if we come here, it's been ever since we had the ability to place units, it's been the same thing. See, try to add target, tile dependency orientation, skill action execute. So it's been the same error over and over again. So, okay. So first of all, let's see if I can kill the last spell. I tried. There we go. All right. So we can at least gracefully kill it. So for the time being, I think let's go back and make some changes here. So in here, if we get this set up properly. So we had this target max health thing that I don't know that we care about. Yeah. Alt F4 working feels good. So is contextual. So one thing that we may run into, and this may be the stream where we roll up our sleeves and try and figure it out. But the thing that I want to do more than anything right now is I want to be able to look at this stack trace and actually see what's going on here, right? Like how far down the rabbit hole have we tumbled? Where have we ended up? What are they trying to do and try add target or tile dependent orientation or get skill source tiles? So this may be the stream where we start to crack the nut of how do we actually view and decompile the code. But before we do that, why did I get rid of that? So we've commented that out. It's also possible that this is only a skill definition, right? We know that skill definition has the ability to have contextual conditions on it. We just know that. And we also know that categories exist and turret is a valid building. So let's go back and look at the brazier again and see if there's anything that we're missing here. So the only difference in the skill definition is we did not do is brazier specific. It makes me want to do a quick search through our files for specific. Where else is this used? Specific damage bonus is brazier specific. So there's very limited usage of specific. I was wondering if there was is item specific or something like that, and maybe we needed to set that flag so that it's not looking in general. But there were no other specific mentions. Then we're defining valid targets and invalid behavior, which is displayed unavailable, and then a contextual condition, and then we're going into a very standard type of thing. Although in this case, it's doing extinguish brazier 10, and then it has a cast duration. So from my reading, this right here, what I am highlighting, is all of the difference between the two. That coupled with this here. Now, I put this, ordering should not matter here. But just because I will put that at the very beginning, right? So we are changing that. So at least all of our changes are grouped. We're setting some valid targets. We are setting an invalid action. And I got rid of this. So let's just try let's try importing that into the bundle extractor. All right, we will do that. Save and apply all. Oh, did I? Oh, I did not. Good. And then we'll delete that. Copy that there. We'll do that. Let's fire up the last spell again. And now I have the player log open, so that should... We should get new goodies as it fires up. Okay, good. Oh, I'll shift this over. And then we'll see if we're immediately besieged by the same issues. We're back in deployment. All right, so if I take this guy and move him over here, so far, no exceptions. Now, we're only in the deploy phase. So if I move him here, so right now we have normal magic bash. I'm going to start him away from these, but let's go in again and just see. Okay, can I cycle through my heroes? No. Magic bash is normal right now, but I can't use it. All right, same error. Skill, action, execution, get source tile is still failing. And it's a null reference. All right, well. We'll let that die a terrible death. And then where is... Yeah, so this... Part of me is like, what if we go... All right, so yeah, so I think this is a non-starter for now. This concept is probably not gonna work out. But it was a very interesting exploration. And I want to hang on to this because I think maybe there's some legs to it with proper tweaking. But let's yeah, something is amiss. We don't know exactly what. Let's get a working version of things fired up. Bring back up the player log file. And we'll make sure that we haven't made any other mistakes, because I would hate to write this off based on the fact that something else is not working. But right now, that exception looks so localized to what we are specifically trying to do that I suspect that everything is going to be fine when we swap over to this. Yep. All right, everything is better. Let's double check the logs, make sure nothing funky is happening. Interesting that we have some... Ooh, so this is... Well, so we don't have another example of a contextual condition. Like, I can search for this. Okay, so what do we have here? So we have the in Watchtower contextual condition. See, go into Watchtower free is contextual. We have Oh. So this is interesting. So valid targets, this one is using a building with an ID as the option. Okay. So when we were looking at, oh, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. Sorry. Here we go. So we were looking at, when we're looking at go into Watchtower, it uses a building ID as opposed to a category. Now, I will say it should support both, but you know. So let's go back to this. So here we were using building exists with a valid targets and a building category. But it looks like maybe we need to try out a... Let's go here. So in the case of Watchtower, we're still using... where did I find that? Is this one here? In the case of Watchtower, we're still using building exists, but then we're using valid buildings. Watchtower must be empty. So let's copy this. Come over here. Wish I could figure out a way to make that always capture. So we're gonna say building categories maybe doesn't work. Now, I would like to use building category would have been better because I'm worried that we're gonna have different IDs for each of the turrets. We don't want it to be, we don't need it to be empty. So we're just gonna do building equals Watchtower. Now we could just do that, but I didn't build a Watchtower. So now we're gonna go into our building definitions here. And the building definition for combat building, this building's ID is ballista. Now, the issue is that we are specifically dealing with a ballista tower, right? And this is where things get problematic because we can use the ID ballista tower, right? Because that's the one that's the building that we're using. And I guess this is good because then we can have multiple versions of it. But so we're going to say that the building ID must be a ballista tower. So Magic Bash is only going to be valid if you are standing next to a ballista. Now, for the Watchtower example, where did that one go? That was in... Where was I seeing the enter Watchtower thing? I've forgotten already. Skill definitions of buildings, maybe? I don't remember. Oh, no, that's right. It's because I found it via this. So it was in skill definitions miscellaneous. Yeah, now I found it. And it is still listing it as contextual true. Okay, cool. So let's try this out. We got another potential here. We've made the changes. This all looks good. Ballista Tower is contextual true. I need to add that in. Save that. We can get rid of this. All right, let's re-import the appropriate stuff. Save and apply all. Save. Do that. I'm going to start using Alt F4 as our standard way of exiting, since it doesn't seem to be causing any issues to speak of. Famous last words, but it's something that I can kind of start the process of it shutting down and then do that. We've got that. All right, and then we should bring up the player log because that's going to be the sad sack here, if anything. Okay, so if I grab you, okay, we'll stand you over here. Everything looks good so far, but only time will tell. Now, if we did things right. First of all, we will not see any exceptions over here, so let's check. And looks good. So, Magic Bash currently disabled. Oh, this is exciting. We can move. But now we can't move anymore. So we moved and it immediately errored out in the same way. So slight improvement, but we still got our null pointer exception. And then also, oh, okay. So we do have, so the thing that, okay, so there's definitely a null pointer exception happening here. But it's more recoverable than it previously was. Now, we can't select his weapon. Now, if I move here, can you then... No, you can't select. Okay, so do we have a second thing? So object reference not set. Object reference not set to an instance object. I think I might know why. Well, I can no longer select that. All right, so we definitely made progress. This is a more recoverable error, but we're still not in it to win it. So let's look a bit closer. So this has display during the day phases, allow during the day phases, which we don't care about. So I'm starting to think that it might be that we're disabling a skill on a weapon. So the reason I'm excited about this, let's go back for a second. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. So there's different versions of going to Watchtower for day and night. Right? So this is display. So maybe we do need a display during phases section. Or maybe so what I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at this skill action go into Watchtower section. Right? This looks like a full skill definition to me, but I'm wondering if we need to like wrap these abilities. Because here's the thing about so the other thing of note. So if I come over here, right? I left invalid cast display behavior. This might have been an error. We don't necessarily need that. We also know that we don't need this. So now we just have valid targets, building ballista. If the building exists, it's a valid target, and we're not trying to do an invalid cast display behavior. Let's simplify it to that and see if that works. So what I'm thinking about, let's talk about that while I'm, oops. Yeah, it doesn't matter. What I'm thinking about here is one fun thing we could do is have every weapon have a special ability that they get when standing next to and manning a ballista. I think that could be like super cool. Just spitballing, obviously, but that could be a really neat facet here. Now, how are we doing in the player log here? Has anything terrible happened yet? Looks like so far no. Okay, so if I just grab you, you can move around. So far, nothing's going bad. All right, let's move to the part that usually sinks our boat. We can switch between them. Magic Bash is disabled. Magic Bash is enabled. Magic Bash is still enabled. Definitely still threw an exception. There we go. Now we got a new problem. I definitely fired off a lot of refresh attack data issues. But yeah, it's a little bit cleaner. So the first exception that we got was the skill action set source. See, I'm starting to think that without knowing exactly what set source is doing and what item is firing it, we may be a little out of luck. But then we got a bunch of exceptions for a refresh tooltip. And then, yeah, I mean, everything was, as soon as we hit this, we were an unhappy camper. So let's kill that again. Let's think about what's going on here. I kind of wish we had a, so at this point, right, what do we have? We are flagging the ability as contextual. We're saying that its valid targets is Ballista Tower. We are saying that its contextual condition is just that the building exists. And that's it. And we have properly closed everything. We've closed this one. So this looks pretty well formed to me. Let's go back to the example that we had, which is going to be here. You can't see it. Now you can. Which is go into Watchtower. It has a valid thing. Now it has this secondary thing. So it says building ID Watchtower and then must be empty true. Now that seems very Watchtower specific. So I don't want people climbing into ballistas. It's an interesting idea, but I don't think I want it. We did not add the display during phases thing. This confuses me. So the thing that is most head scratching to me is that we have skill definition, go into Watchtower, which has as the skill action, go into Watchtower. Now, I don't think this is circular, right? This is not referring to itself. This is referring to code, go into Watchtower code, which we don't want, obviously, for our thing. Well, let's look at some more contextual conditions and see if we come up with anything. So we got quit watchtower. We have use teleporters. Okay, this is another good one. So use teleporters does not have an is empty, right? So it is a valid thing. And then it has contextual condition onto building. So this is when you're standing on top of a building, right? Same structure. What is this one here? This is the finish him one. Okay, so the sum total of contextual conditions that we have access to is Brazers. Then we have watchtower through to here. Then we have use teleporter. Use teleporter is a good example, although it has a lot of code behind it. And then we have execute. Is locked by perk. Trying to think if there's anything else I would change here. So we got rid of the invalid behavior. So that's no longer a component of this. Let's get that like that. Yeah, so we're checking that it is a ballista tower. It's possible that the building ID... No, we know the building ID is right because it worked. Right? So we know that this... I think we know that these two are working. One thing that I'm a little... This is a weird thing to be confused by, but bear with me for a second. So we have the magic scepter skills here, right? Now they share a parent with the magic missiles. Magic missiles, for instance, right? Which is on the wand. So that means that it seems to me something in here should be saying magic scepter, this magic scepter ability belongs to the magic scepter weapon. Which I don't think I've seen before, right? We have the type of the magical attack. We have the damage bonus. We have the skill action. We have the VFX. But the actual marrying of this to this does not exist. So that must be somewhere else. So let's bring up our handy dandy asset studio again. And there must be somewhere else where it actually defines what weapons are sword attacks. Item definition weapons. It's got to be in here. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So we have the skills in here. So we should, if we haven't already pulled this file out, we should. Item definition weapons. We have already pulled it out. We're walking in the footsteps of giants. So if I find scepter, magic scepter 0, it has magic bash, that, and that. So okay, so this was a curiosity of mine. I don't think I see anything here that would connect like the conditionality failing. So wait, so the first error this time was actually the skill action execution. Ooh. Wait, so slightly different. It fell back into the get skill source after that, but I'm glad I came back to look at this. So the time when it actually exploded was when we were trying to do the action. Does that change anything? I think it does. I kind of want to see it fail again here. So we'll go ahead and do this. Oh, never mind. I think I accidentally deleted part of the line. They're all the same error. Okay. I was excited until I wasn't. But we're gonna watch it fail once more. Random building reroll. I'm not sure why it's doing that. But okay, so in the deployment phase, we can move this guy freely, and I don't think we've caused any... Yeah, we've not caused any major issues. No, I just want to see. So everything seems to be working fine, right? We can do stuff. Okay. I still really like the rifle overhaul, I will say. But now over here, we have Magic Bash, which is, if I click on the icon, doesn't look like anything fails. So now, if I move... Okay, Magic Bash became active even though we weren't standing next to anything. All right, and I didn't see exactly when this came up, so let's try this one more time. Yeah, so the filter ID, I think, is the problem. Because it seems like if we're standing next to anything, it's failing. Which to me means that the ballista tower ID is not working for us. So let's go into building definitions. Now, I assumed that it was this ID. Building definition, ballista tower. So the blueprint creates a category turret. Upgrade of ballista. So yeah, so ballista tower is the upgrade of ballista. Now, do we... Okay, now the other issue is... Maybe we try catapult instead. Is catapult simpler? Category handled defenses. Sidewalk type? None? Oh man, we're seeing things. We're seeing things. So let's see. So we could try catapult just because it's easier. Pathfinding style Brezaham? Oh my. Upgrade of ballista. So I'm wondering if the IDs that we have here. So let's find Watchtower, right? Here's Watchtower. So Watchtower has an ID of Watchtower and a category of Watchtower. So I want... Okay, so this is the next thing I want to try. I think they're using... I have a suspicion, and this is a bad suspicion, but I have a suspicion that they are using category and ID and getting them mixed up. So I'm going to try putting the ID of the building as turret, even though I would expect that to be building category, which is what was used previously. But I want to try this and we will see. So let's get this loaded up. Because something is fishy here, right? They're using the two, but hopes and prayers. Hopes and prayers. All right. For my tears. Oh. Excuse me. Let's bring up the log file. I mean, I can't imagine what else. All right, let's see. Let's put you... So, I want to put you adjacent to nothing. So that's working just fine. This is currently disabled. You move one, it becomes enabled. Okay, so we have only moved one tile, and only one exception has fired. And it is already the standard object reference to be set to an instance of an object. And we're getting a null object, a null pointer exception, essentially. So something is not well defined in the context of that. And that could be that only certain things get passed in to the get skill source tiles. So now I'm wondering, is what we are running into that Magic Bash's source is a player, but its valid targets is the turret? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe valid targets is the wrong thing. Because, see, I like building category more than I liked ID turret. Like, I think ID should be this. But the thing is we're saying valid targets. Is valid targets what Watchtower uses? I don't remember. I think it was, but let's go check. So yeah, so the problem that we're running into here is that go into Watchtower targets a Watchtower. No, it's okay, Illustrious. You're all good. I'm just ruminating. I'm surprised the hype around Last Spell modding streams has tapered off. So I may start doing this in my free time and going back to just playing the Last Spell, because not tickling people's fancy, unfortunately. So let's see. So yeah, the Watchtower, these things are targeting. Yeah, so valid target walkable tile. Oh, this is so weird because there's two different things going on here. Right? This is targeting the Watchtower and saying that it must be empty. So maybe we don't have the ability to separate the target from the adjacency. And that's the issue that we're running into here. That's starting to feel like the issue. Because the target here is a walkable tile, and the target here is the building that you're getting into. Which makes sense for those, but if I'm trying to target an enemy, that's not so ideal. Okay, so well, we're gonna need to table this, obviously. This is this I think we've exhausted our options. And then all we have to do is get rid of those. Really? You don't like the open ones either? XML's commenting scheme has always baffled me a little bit. All right, and then I mean we are doing his contextual still, but I'll just grab that and move that there. There we go. All right, let's move on to greener pastures. We've gotten very distracted in our quest here, as we always do. I think it is the way. Let's see. All right, that's dying. We will import this. We'll overwrite that. Delete that. Copy this here. We're gonna confirm that we have unbroken the things that we have broken. We should have built some traps. Probably need to restart our game to figure that out. So grab that, grab that. All right. So let's just confirm that a turn works. Now we don't know if that guy's stunned or not, unfortunately, but all right. Well, we did fix it. For better or worse. Mostly for better. I mean, I'm not gonna. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Still had Asset Studio up there. Still had Asset Studio up there. And then we've got... That still needs some work. That still feels a little weird. You know... I know it would make it stronger, but... Let's try fixing that. I wanna tweak the melee weapon. The spear, specifically. Because I think if we go look at it, where's triple swipe at? This is it right here. Yeah, I think all it needs to look more reasonable is that with an origin of 4. So we only added 1 target. We did have definitely increased its range, but let's try that out. And I think I'm gonna abandon this game. Because I also want to make sure I built some of each of the types of traps so that we can actually do some testing. That doesn't seem better in the least. I think it seems better. What makes you think that it is not better? Do tell. It's an extra target, and it gives extra range. Those both seem like things that I would describe as good. Let's see, we need a spear. Did we have a longbow on someone? That's a short bow, so we'll grab a longbow. Grab a rifle. One of you, one of you, one of you. I mean, I feel like targeting was whack previously. I'm interested to see if it feels any less whack this way. But, you know, science needs to be done. I'm just trying to get all the weapons. Ooh, oh, there's a blood crystal. Okay, good. Right? Yeah, blood crystal. Okay, we want to see if we can add an ability to the blood crystal. So we're gonna do that as well. I'm glad we found one. I had forgotten about that. Out there, we'll give you a rifle. Give you a longbow. Give the Tome of Secrets that. And then for now, we'll give you... I don't think I'm going to be changing the pistol much. We'll give you that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I want to do like a smattering of each trap type. So we'll do like a... Hopefully the wave doesn't completely miss these, or we may have a bad time. But we'll see. I'm gonna scatter around some traps so that hopefully we can see what's going on. I have this like this imagining of this being like the way that, wait, these are slow traps, right? This being the way that some people play the game, just kind of being like, yeah, oh, I need some traps. There we go. All right. But that looks good. All right, people have weapons, so let's now I think I made changes. Did I make my changes to the spear, or did I not do that? Okay, so you got stunned. And you did not? Yeah, it looks like that did work. So you... Yeah, so triple wipe is awkward looking. So let's leave and let's get the new triple swipe so we can see how that looks. I think it's going to be a market improvement. So skill definitions, melee weapons, import, melee weapons, save all, save, replace, copy here. There we go. And then we'll fire her back up. All right. So this feels good. So now we'll see. So how does the spear look now? Okay. Well, I got it off center, but that feels way better. I feel like it gives the spear some range that it otherwise doesn't have. We obviously need to fix. How did I get this off center? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. So this shouldn't be 4. This should be 3. Wasn't it already 3? No, I guess it was 2 before. Oh, so maybe it was already correct. Oh, 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, because that's the x coordinate is the... Yeah, obviously. Should have stayed that. The origin didn't actually have to change at all. So let's validate that that worked. Yeah, kind of nice that we didn't have to make a change at all there, but there we go. Already launching back in. Yeah, so and then I want to start thinking about traps. I also want to go back and find. I did a patch notes video where I talked about my ideas for how I would change traps, but I think things have changed a bit since then. Okay, so let's see. See, I think that's interesting. So things that we have going on with the spear. We've made it so the pointy end of the spear does more damage at its max. What has changed regarding the spear's triple swipe? Or something else entirely? I think that's like an iconic shape. It's not easy to work around regarding traps. So far I haven't made any changes to traps. So that's going to be kind of the next thing that we take a look at is my thinking. But I think before we do that, let's get a little crazy. And let's see if we can figure out how to make the blood crystal have an ability. Because I don't know about that one. Yeah, so when I originally here, let's go find it, right? It's a good idea to talk about it. So let's see. Do I have a open modding plan? Modding the last spell. Let's see. This is so this is a patch notes video. I think it was this one. Nope, not that patch notes. All right. So let's look at all the patch notes. Yes, okay, cool. So let's bring this up really quickly if I can manage. So this was the patch notes for the most recent version of the game. And if I go up to master browser, window capture, grab that. There we go. So that should be visible now. I'll make it a little bigger. But these were the slides that I used for that patch. Which one is this? Master. Oh, there's master browser. Okay, so if I uncheck you, okay, we can at least move that like that and make that a little bigger. Okay, good enough. All right, so this was the patch where they unnerfed defenses. So for a bit of a, in fact, let me hit this with this. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about traps and defenses. So patch 1.0.2.15, which I think is still the current version of the game, the devs unnerfed ballista damage. So they nerfed ballista damage by 50%, and then they unnerfed it back up to only being a 25% nerf. That was this here, right? They made them a little cheaper to make. They made them cost a little less materials, and then they restored some of the damage that was previously lost, right? So basically, I added, as an end of patch notes thing, I added my, 2 cents. And I said that I think the nerf was well-intended, but also a bit of a mistake, right? And the reason that it was a mistake was because the things that make the game hero-centric and a hero power fantasy were items, stats, level ups, and perks, right? As you get these things, your heroes get stronger. And building a bunch of tower defenses didn't feel like it was contributing to that. So I think this was the problem they were trying to solve, right? They were trying to solve the problem of, if the primary way that you're killing stuff is through ballistas, that's bad for business. So then I talk a little bit about the fact that, generally speaking, taking things away feels bad, right? If you're like, hey, sorry, your ballistas aren't going to do damage anymore, or they aren't going to work the way that they used to. In a single player game, it feels bad. So my suggestion was that we do a complete rework, and there are 3 planks to that rework. The first was, defenses no longer do damage. Across the board, instead of focusing defensive structures on generating hero synergy, instead of focusing on damage, they would focus on generating hero synergy. It's been a while since I've looked at these slides. Make static defenses increase the hero power by debuffing or controlling enemies, right? And we've already started to do a little bit of that. We made ballistas stun. We made catapults have a snare type effect. And then the last piece of it was modify traps to be less spammable and more targeted and impactful. I don't know if we're going to be able to do all of that last one. That's perhaps more of a stretch goal. But then I went and I talked about each of the defenses and what I thought it should do. So the catapult would become the tar launcher, which was a snare in the 12-tile diamond that it usually affects, and then also a resistance debuff of 25%. We have not implemented the resistance debuff, but we have made it. If I bring up, let's toggle the browser off for a second. If I select the catapult, we now have the catapult with a stun on the central unit, and then an even higher snare on the other units, right? So if we do this, right, we're like, oh, this guy's big and scary. We can do that. And he gets stunned, and all of his compadres are kind of locked in place. I think it still fits with the tar launcher concept. So I would say we held pretty true to the catapult concept here. Then for ballistas, I was originally thinking of them as net launchers. So single target root, single target stun, and then seasoned operators is doubles the targets and increases the stun chance. Now, again, this is approximately what we've done. There's some complexity to it. Like single target root, we didn't implement, right? But what we did was we did low base chance of stun, higher chance of stun, highest chance of double stun. Now, the thing that this does, right, the purpose of the ballistas in my eyes is to control flankers, fast-moving units, by buying you time to get to them and take them down. So the concept here was you, rather than wanting to put all of your ballistas around the last spell, because then they'll just all overlap, you want all of your ballistas in different places so you get lots of stuns, and, you know, when runners get by, they get stunned, and then you can go clean them up. So again, we've implemented a version of this. So then damage traps, and this is where things get hard, right? Because part of some of these is changing enemy behavior, which we haven't figured out entirely how to do yet. I think that the damage trap might be something that we could do with the nuclear barricade. I think that's what it's called, but we'll talk more about that. So my proposition for the damage trap was a poison lure trap. So something that pulls enemies towards it, which we might be able to do by classifying this damage trap as a wall instead of other things. But basically, enemies within the range of the lure trap must move towards the lure trap instead of towards the circle, using up charges, total of 2. I think we would replace this with enemies that attack walls will attack this thing. But, you know, there's some fiddliness there. And then the idea is that in the movement phase, you're going to have more capacity for controlling where enemies go. And then the last thing is that it grants contagions on enemies that end their turn on or adjacent to the trap. I think I would replace this with the idea that when you destroyed it, it explodes. Right? That might work. But the idea is I want to incorporate some level of like contagion/contaminate generation plus some ability to manipulate pathing of enemies. Unclear if they can necessarily do that. The next one was snare trap, which is basically this introduces a new dynamic that I don't think we can do. But the idea is basically to change it to a spike strip that anybody that walks over gets slowed down. So, right, rather than it being a single entity, it would be this long line, and when it goes off, it would snare everyone in the line. I think we could change it to be a line, but I don't think we can change it so that things that pass over it automatically get hit. It would be if someone stops on it, we would have maybe like, where's my last spell window? We could maybe have the snare trap, when it goes off, do a large, like maybe 2x5 area type of thing. So if they trigger it, a lot of things get slowed down. I think could be very reasonable. Change it to not consume uses? Yes, but I don't think I can make it trigger if someone doesn't stop on it, right? That's the issue. The issue is right now traps only trigger if someone walks on it. So like my original vision was as this creature pathed from here to here, right? Because this creature is going to end up moving to here, right? It would walk over these 2 traps, and as a result, it would take 2 snares. But that's not the way that traps work. I think it is the way traps should work, but that's, you know, that's a different one. Now, we're a little snare heavy right now, so the snare trap coupled with the tar launcher might feel a little something. I don't know. But then the last one is the stun trap. And I refer to this one as the shrapnel trap. So this would be catapult style area with a like complete defense shred. So anybody who is caught in the explosion of this isn't going to take any damage, but they're going to be less inclined to dodge, have less armor, have less block. Yeah, that's correct in Lustrous. Nothing has it, but I think that it is the way that traps should work. That's my, my personal opinion. But yes, it's not something we'll be able to do with XML because it requires kind of like a big refresh to... Like, that would be a very invasive change even from a code perspective, because I don't think we're going to have good examples of it. But that was the concept. And largely, I like all of these ideas. I think the snare trap might be a little samey, coupled with the catapult. I kind of feel like ballistas need some more identity. But overall, the idea is to shift towards a lot of debuff and control. And that's kind of the direction that we've been going. So the first thing that I think I want to do in this space is I want to find skill definitions buildings. Oh, that's not. Here we go. Here they are. And let's find our traps. Now, this test nuclear barricade. I want to see if we can get it enabled. So we might want to do a quick search. It shows up in two places in the game files, both of them in skill definitions buildings. So what I'm wondering is I'm wondering if they have created... Yeah, let's see if we can get this enabled. So I think we need a different file. So let's bring up Asset Studio. We can turn off the master browser. Maybe. Can we turn off the browser? Bueller. All right, there we go. Boop. There we go. It's gone. So let's see. So we have building action definitions. We have building definitions. So there's a part of me that wonders if somewhere... Do we have building definitions currently? We do have building definitions. So I'm wondering if somewhere in this file there is a commented out section for the nuclear barricade. Looks like there isn't. You can only have 12 gates. Did I know that? That's interesting. 32 ballistas, 5 production buildings. Interesting. So I want to bring back the nuclear barricade just to see if it exists. So what does this file do? Yeah, I mean, gates generally don't hold a lot of value to me because if I want something to stop enemies, I'm not going to bother. So I don't think building definitions contains what we're looking for. So let's bring back up Asset Studio. So we have building gauge effects, building passive definitions, building skill sounds, building upgrade definitions. Skill definitions, buildings. So there's somewhere... So it might be in a menu. Do we get anything else if we just say build? I was wondering, like, structures? Construction definition. Here we go. All right, so let's see. So repair cost ratio, 50%. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know. So repairing something costs half of what it costs to build it. Very interesting. This looks like the construction definition is all repair. I'm going to look at all the definition files. Bark, boss phases, brazier, building. We have action definitions, building definitions. A thing being present in building definitions might be enough. Because we have ruins B. Ruins A has been moved to a single file for the example. Weird. We have city definitions for the tutorial map. Compendium definition. Construction definition. There's got to be... I don't know if there's going to be a flag, but I do think that there is a place where all of the things that you can build must live. What are ground definitions? Dirt, stone, dirt, crater. Good to know. ID list. Hit by enemy sound definitions. Item list stuff. Male unit face definition. Panic. Pathfinding perk. Playable unit. Playable unit template. Recruitment. Resource definitions. Not a lot there. Shop definitions. Prices. That's all that is. It does, yes. Yeah, but I think it was only for testing anyways. Where is it? Is it, we were just looking at it a second ago, right? It's in the building definitions. Oh, it's not. It's in the... Oh, maybe it's not a building. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's a skill on barricades. That's an interesting... I see what you're saying now. Cardinal direction. 500 to 1,000 damage. Has the fireball magic effect. So, okay, so now the question that we have is... If we go to building definitions, go back up to building definitions, and we find a trap. So the slow trap can go city or outside, has a single shadow, sidewalk, So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for something that... So it has some goals... has a skill progression associated with it, but I don't see anything here that ties it to the skill definition, right? So we have a skill definition here. So we have trap skills. So we have stun trap triggered. And this is test nuclear barricade. So I assume that would be triggered. But so we have stun trap triggered. We take this and we go to the building definitions. Search in here for stun trap triggered. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely... The way that they're doing it is a little interesting. But this is a very complicated block. So I'm a little disappointed. Because I was hoping that whatever was going on with the test nuclear barricade thing was something that we could utilize. Now, we could go look... The other place that we could look is... Are boomers in here? We could look at boomers to see if there's a hint as to how we generate what we're trying to generate here. Yeah, so we don't have the one for boomers. So let's bring that up in Asset Studio really quickly. Because I'm wondering what makes boomers explode. Other than pure vitriol. So there's the boomer. So its goal is boomer attack. Main idea, explode on a building with preference for town buildings and not defenses. But yeah, I do think there's going to be some type of on-death type of thing. Boomer attack on death. Goal 5, boomer attack on death. Goal computing step on death. So I don't know that buildings are going to have an on death type of thing, right? Because they don't have goals in general. And this appears to be a function of goals. And buildings aren't going to have goals. Which is why I'm not sure we can make a building that explodes when it is destroyed. I don't think we have a good example of that. Curious. Yeah, so I don't think we can use the goal and on death triggers necessarily, right? It would be nice if buildings had an on death trigger, but you know, it was much more reasonable for us to assume that we might be able to enable and disable conditionally weapon abilities based on what you're standing next to. The idea of being able to grab on death and just slap it someplace else seems very unlikely. Okay, so let's see. So here's the building definition. We're gonna ignore nuclear barricade for the moment. We're just gonna make some tweaks. So slow trap triggered. I want it to be more impactful. So let's make it 5 across. Its origin will be at 2-0. So that's the base version, right? Then for the improved slow trap, I don't want it to be this like X pattern. Also, what's the difference? Oh, the extra ones that are hit are only doing 1. Okay, so let's do that, and we'll do that, and then the origin is going to be at Y1 X2. So an improved slow trap now will hit above and below with 1. Then so that's your slow trap sorted. Then your stun trap, what did I say in the documentation that I thought stun trap would be? This one's going to be the shrapnel trap. So this is going to be like a big change. Where, I mean, the only thing that we're really doing is we're changing the stun trap here to be a set of malices. And the best place to get a set of malices to look at, probably in magic items, if we look at, gosh, what was the example that we used? That was the, maybe we did it on the catapult, now that I think about it. No, we're not doing... We're doing some snare, but this trap is not about snare. So stun trap... So the things that we want it to do is we want it to reduce armor, reduce dodge, reduce resistance, and block. Now, where do we have a good example of reducing dodge? I'm trying to think. We have the magic weapon. We have acid splash, which I think I improved it. Yeah, so this is what... Okay, nice. So this is going to be very similar. We're going to grab all of these. And then I'll do this. There we go. So this is armor total reduced by some amount. This one is dodge. And then this one is block. And then we still need resistance, which we can get from the magic book. What's it called? The tome. There we go. Yeah, weakening touch, and then we can grab the malice debuff. I don't think we debuff damage. I think we're only doing these skills. So we grab that, and resistance reduction, we'll do that. There you go. So this now has a lot of effects, and I think we want it by default to hit more things. Right, we're gonna eventually tweak the cost of these things to make them make more sense, but I think the origin then is going to be 1-1. It's just an across the board reduction. It's like acid splash, yes. I like the idea of shrapnel grenade just being like you have defenses, you lose them. And to that end, right, like I think I'm going to make these pretty significant because they're only going to hit once. So let's do 30s across the board, and I'm going to do like 300 armor. So the idea is that's going to be like just a boatload of reduction. It's not going to do any stun. In fact, I think we can just get rid of this. We know how to make stuns if we want to. But yeah, we'll do that, and then I think, you know, some type of square pattern is fine. I'm not going to bother. We didn't upgrade our traps, so I'm not going to bother doing more. We got this, which is our snare. I guess I did do the upgraded version of that. I guess it's not that hard to do the improved version, which will just be that again. And then I think we're just gonna extend the range. I don't think I'm gonna do a secondary effect. I don't think that's what we need. Gaining 4 for this improved trap doesn't seem that big a deal, but I think that's actually pretty significant. We could think about doing something with a secondary effect, but I think right now just making it larger is fine. And then that's the nuclear barricade, which means that right about here should be the damage trap. And what did we want the damage trap to do? According to this, oh yeah, the damage trap was lure, right? Which we know we can add contagion if we want to. Which, oh my gosh, contagion plus shrapnel trap is like nutso. I love that combo. I think that's actually really cool. Oh, I don't think we changed the origin properly for this. This should be at 01222. Yeah, so I don't want to do any poison because I think we're trying very hard to remain anti-damage. You know, like we may come back and reconsider that stance later, but I think I like the idea of that. So okay, so skill action, we're gonna replace skill action with skill effect. That's gonna be our new, right? We're not gonna have. Does skill effect have skill action in it? Uh-oh. Skill action attack becomes skill action attacks. There's a way to do this. Hold on. I need to remember. What was the thing that we changed? Oh yeah, was the catapult. So we want to look at the catapult. So the catapult now is a skill action generic skill effect. Let's grab all of that. Skill action generic skill effect. So we don't need to do an attack. Right? So we get rid of the attack. We put that like that. We don't need skill action nested under skill action. Generic. And then skill effect like that. Close that. Close generic. There we go. All right. And then for this one, we want to go borrow a page from Magic Orb. Specifically Infect, which we added Contagion to. So the skill effect is going to be Contagion. So generic, and then base chance 1, turn count. I'm going to make it 3. Just for the purposes of starting out. That might be too much. But I think this makes it so that if you want to put one of these traps on a side where you have a poison user, it's like wildly effective, right? It's like it's really nice that you can choose to do that. We don't need the asset browser up right now. So okay, so then for this one, we don't want to fill in these holes because we like contagion being, like kind of spread around but not concentrated. So we like that. And then this one here, we could do, for this one, we could fill in with a secondary effect. Something in here. Or, so this right now this is only giving contagion. Is there something else that we could give that complements contagion well, but doesn't... This might honestly be too much contagion also. Like less might be more in this case. Yeah, let's take this and make this the improved version. Like that. And then let's actually make this one be a smaller diamond that actually doesn't target the center tile. Like that. So now we're getting 4 out of the base one that are really good for propagating, all things considered, and then we get more out of the other one. Now this should be 2-2, or actually we can leave it as 1-1 because we can delete that, and then delete the extraneous. So there we go. So we'll do that, and then this contagion is going to replace. Or actually, hold on. We really want generic for the skill action. So now in the child of skill action, we're going to get rid of attack and replace it with generic. There we go. And then while we're at it, the ballista skill, we should give it the same treatment. This is going to be generic. We're going to close generic there. Then we don't need a base damage or an attack or a damage multiplier. We just need the stun. Okay, let's see if we broke anything there. I give it even odds. We made a lot of changes there. Close that down. There we go. All right, we're ready to fire it back up again. I don't think we currently have Omen of Siege, but yeah, Omen of Siege needs to be rewritten because it does nothing. I don't think we took it in this case, but all right, we still make it in. So now this still says it's doing damage, which means, oh, I don't think I changed the mounted versions. Hold on. Yeah, this should be also generic, and then again, we can get rid of damage multiplier, get rid of those. And then Ballista Tower skill, same thing. That was a pretty minor mistake, but we'll grab that. No dodge. Okay. There we go. So now we have generic skill effects for those two. But that's not really what we're looking at. Now, slow traps now have a 3 across nature. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Okay, so sometimes they are sideways, and they're still doing damage, so I need to fix that. The damage traps are now applying contagion for 3 turns, so that looks good. And the stun trap is doing a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, so how do I make slow traps not rotatable, or do I make them all rotatable? All right, that's a question mark for us for a second. Let's also slow traps have damage on them, so let's fix that. All right, so this is slow trap triggered. Yeah, okay, so this should be generic, and then we zap away the damage. So now we just have the movement points. I think we increase the snare to 3. Nah, I mean we want them to slow it down but not stop them. And then same over here with the generic. Why are you... Did I get it right there? Oh, I think it's just saying it's not matched yet. All right, then we can get rid of all of those. And then I think for the improved version, I'm going to go 3 and 2, like that. Okay, cool. So those were minor issues. Let's see if the game crashes when traps start getting sprung. All right. I mean, that certainly looked cool. The stuns are working well, too. I'm down with that. So we got some little contaminates in here, right? Now you... So I want to check this out. So if I do a power shot on you... Now you have 60 block and minus 600 armor. Now you have minus 120 resistance. See, this is getting a little out of hand. We just hit that guy for 1,800 damage because he has 210 resistance. We might need to tone it down a skosh. Okay, but actually we're not doing that much damage. I think it's still capped. The certainly the minus... Certainly the minus damage is a lot here. It is some numbers. I'm kind of sitting here and I'm like, how bad is that, right? So essentially it's just saying like we spent an entire turn propagating this, and you came out with them having no armor, no dodge, And resistance is capped at -50 for the purposes of the calculation. So I'm kind of like, is it really that bad? And then I really dig this. I think triple swipe, what we were missing was that first node. Triple swipe looks not bad to me now, which I'm thrilled to buy. But yeah, I think it's interesting. So let's see. So if we retreat people, yeah, and resistance is limited. So the shrapnel traps seem pretty ballin'. Let's see. So the other thing though that we can do is we can see that we got a contagion here. So we can use our catapult to drop a stun there. And then as we blow this guy up, oh, he's not going to transfer the stun because of the way the contagion trap worked. So let's see. You have like -90 resistance. So see, we're still like the thing that I was curious about that I'm checking out is it's great that we're getting some stun propagates here, right? But like our damage isn't continuing to scale. Like we're not getting insane scaling because we have -90 resistance, right? It's still doing about 200. But it's certainly good, right? You know, like I don't think that anyone would argue the fact that it's good, but if you start using AoE, you're going to miss out. But yeah, the combo here, right? All these guys have like -4, -12 movement. You know, like we've definitely done a number on their movement. We need our... I still really like that ability too, I will say. Yeah, I don't know. I think we got something interesting happening here. Use a catapult to slow these guys down. Well, yeah, but in Lustrous, think about how you're taking it away, right? Because I agree, right? You're taking away a gimmick, but like, do you think that it's trivial to get a bulky to walk on a trap if you don't build a lot of traps? You know what I mean? Like fundamentally, everything relies here on being able to get enemies to step on traps. So it feels to me, at least, like if you can successfully get enemies to step on traps, you should be like commensurately rewarded. But you know, that's just like my opinion, man. You know, like I'm already noticing that the contagion, I think the lure trap right now is the underpowered trap. I'm kind of sitting here and going like, how the heck do I wasted the stun on that, but how the heck do I make contagion actually land on things that then have an impact on my life? Tell me more about why you feel that way in Lustrous. Because I don't know that I agree. Like, I think that it's certainly a major change from the way people are used to playing. But I think if a new player came in and was like, you know, oh, okay, so you know, I can do some debuffing or I can do some whatever with traps. I don't look at that and go, oh, that would be like deeply confusing for them or something. But maybe. I don't know. Oh, speaking of a bulky showing up. Well, I mean, they would have different names, right? Like, I agree, like, Shrapnel Trap would take a little bit of explaining, but you know, if you had a tar launcher that stuns and, you know, stuns and whatever else. I think that's reasonably... Actually, hold on. So how do I get these guys with triple swipe? Yeah, see, that feels great. All right. I dig it. So the game does a good job of tutorializing things, right? So basically, like, the way that I think of it is there's one enemy of each type that is designed to educate players on how that enemy, like, functions in the real world. The axe boomerang I've made pretty unwieldy, I will say. Whereas this just feels good every time I use it. I think Death Ray is my new favorite ability, which is good. You want your expensive abilities to be your favorite abilities. Let's see. Getting this guy with Contaminate and Stun feels pretty good. That guy did not get stunned. But yeah, like, I don't know. There's something about... I mean, I don't know that I'm even utilizing anything properly right now. Like, this is very kind of like by the cuff. I love the gain and lose charge. It makes me sad that that's not working yet. But... But, like, certainly even just a smattering of traps is creating some, like, interesting dynamics. And largely, this is what I imagine ballistas being okay at. I don't mean that in the way that it's not working. Yeah, no, I see your point for sure. Oh, we haven't used the lightning yet. Oh, I can get all three. Let's do it. I still love the new lightning bolt. I still love it. Yeah, even there, it feels reasonable. But what I really like is that, like, this guy here, he's stunned. He's not out of commission. Like, we still have to deal with him, which I think is a very smart change. I mean it in the way that the current form is very skill dependent. I think what to put that a different way in Lustrous, and you can tell me if you agree or disagree. I think that this means that traps are functioning synergistically with hero skills rather than the way that they used to be, which is not synergistic, but instead, like, the traps are doing their thing and everybody else is doing the rest of things type of deal. See, so now the bulky has... See, so we made a mistake here. The only thing we propagated to the bulky was reduced movement, right? We wanted to be getting all the delicious buffs, but largely they've worn off, and we haven't had anyone step on a shrapnel trap in a while. Yes, but that's not what I mean. Okay, I guess I haven't yet cracked the code on exactly what you're meaning then, I guess. Let's see, and then I think... That's decent enough. I just like using Death Ray now. Like, that is, to me, is the hallmark of, like, a good redesign. I am excited about using... I'm excited about using the using skills like Death Ray, which I used to not like it at all. Let's just say that for synergy to work, one must know about it first. Yes. I will agree with that. It's, you know, and I think, but now, are you saying that that is, like, I think that's a, generally speaking, a malady of lots of games. Oh, I'm surprised this guy didn't die. My gut would have said that the new and improved Impale would have killed that guy in a go. Now, here's an interesting question. Ooh, look at that. Look at the way that threads the needle. That's so satisfying. It doesn't blow up any of my ballistas, and yet... In current form, traps have a high skill and knowledge ceiling. Yes. And I think that is a... So I regard that, and I think this is part of the question that I'm wondering or trying to ask ineffectively. But is that, do you see that as a downside or a selling point? Because to me, that seems like good for business. Like, I would like more of the game. Because, like, I don't think anybody who it's their first day playing the last spell is going to download my mod pack and be like, this is the way the last spell is meant to be played, right? This, largely the game, the mod that I am imagining creating is a mod for people who have familiarity with the game and want to kind of, like, experience new and different aspects, if that makes sense. Like, the traps have basically, like, run their course. So we're not getting any value out of them anymore. Which I also think is good. If it's left as a mod, it's not an issue. Totally get you. Okay, so you're basically saying, like, if the devs were to adopt these changes, you would have concerns that they are difficult to... They're less readable. Now, this guy is going to be a bummer because he's just barely going to miss the shrapnel trap, which would have been fun. I wish you had more mana. Do you have a mana potion by any chance? No, you don't. All right. And you don't have... excessive, but... Oh, that was disappointing. I shouldn't have swung at that guy in that stance in that moment. All right. I don't think, unfortunately or fortunately, you know, like, I don't think there is any world in which these changes become official. You know, the time for that was before was after the last set of changes were made, and it certainly feels like the boat was missed, as it were. Oh man, that was bad. And this is another one that I really like. I really like that for, like, small clusters like this, you can do the double the double proc and then just kind of... Hello? Accuracy? Did I not take dexterity? Seems like I didn't take dexterity. But you're never going to get into a situation where the enemies are dying to your defenses. Every kill here is going to go to an actual hero. Which I think there's something really nice about that. It feels more impactful. This is exactly what I'm talking about with traps. Like, imagine how much better off we would be if this bulky stepped on the shrapnel trap. You know, and I think that's the magic of this particular thing. So with the rifle, right, we use up our movement points attacking the bulky. Then we get a few movement points back, and sadly, nothing else to do with them. But yeah, the bulky is artfully dodged. No stun on the bulky, which is to be expected, right? We didn't expect the bulky to... We didn't expect the bulky to die to... we didn't expect them to get stunned, because right now our stun chance is 75%, which is just slightly below the threshold of us like thinking that reliably we can do what we need to do. Oops. Because we didn't get these two, so we'll get those two. And then this one I love because you want to, for larger enemies, you want to dance right at that edge. So, okay, bulky is the only one left? No, we have one more guy here. But as opposed to having a wall of ballistas, we get a few shots in. So I kind of want to let this guy marinade for a little bit. I want to see if we can get a stun off. I kind of wish we had kept a catapult shot, but... Yeah. At 75, he's stunning us and we are not stunning him. Fair enough. Rifle's got good damage potential here. All right. So it was nice playing a knight there just to kind of see how things went. My feeling is that the numbers feel a little wonky, right? The numbers get awfully big. The fact that we can't... Hold on, I want to build a trap so that I can see. So the slow trap... Oh, the origin... Okay, so this is the problem. The origin is totally funky on the slow traps. Hold on a second. Origin is at 2-0. That doesn't seem like that should be like that. But they weren't, though, because this is a slow trap here, and it is allocated next to it. So, okay, so the slow trap, the stun trap, the damage trap is the lure trap, right? So it's doing those 4 locations. The stun trap, this is the shrapnel trap at the moment. And then the slow trap is wonked out of its gourd. But why? 2-0 looks correct. Now, we might have had something else in there. Why origin? This should be 2-1. Step on this trap and break those monsters' backs over there. That is pretty much exactly what's going on. What would be causing that? Because that's just an area effect. Let's go through all the slow trap locations. So the improved version is at X of 2, 0, 1, 2, Y of 1. That looks correct. Then we're back up here where the X origin is 2 and the Y origin is 0. Certainly seems correct to me. And it's possible that we just... It's possible that we pushed a previous version where it was wrong and then I fixed it. So let's first, before we change anything, let's just make sure we're on the appropriate... Hold on. Which thing am I editing? This is buildings. Okay. The worst is when you put the wrong one in. Okay, we'll do that, and then we'll exit out. That issue looks like a typo, so I'm assuming there's a typo somewhere, but I would have expected it to be in the origin definition, which it doesn't. The origin at least looked correct, so we'll take a quick look, and then this is going to be the last thing that we do before we're done for the day, and then we'll switch over and play a bit of Wantless. No. Okay, it's definitely still in Wonk Town. So we're going to have a problem because the other thing that I'm noticing is that this doesn't rotate when I come over here or when I come over here. So the asymmetry is kind of fouling things up. Now, see, we're spending a non-zero amount of cost on traps. Yes, that wouldn't do it, but like the issue that we're gonna have regardless. So the origin is at 0, is at 2, 0. X of 2, Y of 0. So right, so if we count that across 0, 1, 2, right? So the origin is this point here and then up 0. So that seems correct to me. I'm wondering though. Okay, here's an idea. Maybe we need to make these square. Maybe things don't play well. So the X origin is 0, 1, 2, and the Y origin is 2. So we could very easily pad this out. Just as a first test, right? So we're gonna do... Because the thing that we could check is we could check Rain of Arrows if we wanted to. Let's go to the range skill and find Rain of Arrows. Now, Rain of Arrows is non-square. So I would have assumed that would have worked, but we'll try this regardless. So now the origin is at 2, 2 for slow trap. So let's load that in and see. And we'll see if that fixes any of the issues. The problem that I foresee, though, is that I think that the traps need to be radially symmetric because they don't rotate as you move them around the map. Right? Ideally, I would want them to detect the quadrant and always be perpendicular to it. But I think that means we're going to need to make slow trap. So yeah, see, so now it is correct, but see, it doesn't work over here. It works well over here and well over here. So, to that end, because it does not rotate, there's no rotation capability in the game. So that means that probably the closest that we can do is we can do like a big X, a big sideways X like this of slowing. Kind of weird. I don't love it. And then for this one, we will go X, 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 and then E, oops, EXE, EXE. So we'll do that for the other one. Yes, I think that is a cross. I think you're right. Well, and actually maybe then we get rid of... No, I think we do that. All right. That makes the slow trap have a massive radius, but I think that's the play. So we'll kill that, and I'm gonna try this one more time, and then we'll pack up. But I like what we did here. I like what we did here. Okay. Obviously, we can't toggle between the omens of improved traps and not, and at some point we'll have to test the traps, but we're largely working off of a template that I think is good. So let's see. So slow trap now looks like this, which is a cross, as you were so kind to point out. Then we have stun trap, which is... This is the contagion trap, and it doesn't actually affect the enemy that stood on it, but that's by design. Stun trap is the shrapnel trap, as it were. And then I think what we can do is if we start to amp up the cost of these traps, it's going to have a couple of interesting benefits. Because it's gonna make the seer more valuable, because where the seer tells you people are entering is where you can set up a select few traps to to get things going. Like what I might do is I might do like a shrapnel trap in a specific location. And then immediately in front of it, I might put, I might like do a couple of contagion traps around it, right? So that now we have a high likelihood of getting and spreading the shrapnel damage. And maybe we lessen the shrapnel's area of effect to be more like a plus symbol. And then, oh, actually, okay, I like this idea. So what if instead, real quick final change. So what if instead the lure trap does corners, like that. So it's still doing diagonal, so you're not getting that like anti-synergy. And then the upgraded version does the big lattice. I think we leave this one the same because now it's just extending the same pattern. So that makes it a little more intuitive. And then the shrapnel trap, I think, needs to maybe be a little less redonkulous. Okay, so this one up here. Like this seems like a lot. I'm trying to think what pattern. So okay, so if we go over here. So if we have one of these, right? And we have one of these, but this is doing itself and the corners, I think we would want this to be a plus symbol. AKA a small cross. Like that. And then maybe the big one does just do an absolute smattering, but yeah, because that's a one extended version. Okay, cool. Well, we'll leave it at that. This is a good session. I think we came up with some good things. I think we are absolutely blocked by me getting the code decompiled. So that's something I'll try and work on over the weekend when I have time. But we're gonna call it there, and I'm gonna transition over to Wantless. So give me a moment here. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. I'm not going to bother running ads because there's basically no one here. And then we'll get back into Wantless in probably a couple minutes, but be right back. I saw your message in Lustrous and I ran the ad break, but since you're subscribed, you didn't know. Anyways, let's switch over to our next game. So be right back. Let me make sure I actually set up the redirect. Yep. I did indeed. Okay, so boom. Boom. Boom.